flashy movesets, powerful kits, overpowered abilities, or just personal favorites, there'll always be plenty of reasons to pull for characters in WuWa. But do you know the difference between a must pull and a trap? I'm Pity Forte, and I take the guesswork out of gacha. Now, every patch, Kuro is going to do their best to convince you that you need a character by tailoring content and the story around them. Without knowing what to consider when looking at a character's kit, it's real easy to be fooled into wasting your hard-earned astrite. Luckily, that's what I'm here for. First, let's answer what is a trap banner. Most people understand these as banners that are specifically designed to squeeze money out of the players. While this is generally true for most gachas, I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper and explain just how they appear in Wuthering Waves. In WuWa, every character release has had their time to shine in the spotlight, so trap banners here appear a little differently. In this game, we get banners where the featured character locks you into pulling for more than you originally planned for. Fortunately, there are clear signs to look for, and once you know what to look for, they're going to be hard to miss. First, you'll want to ask yourself, am I being given a complete kit on the first pull? Some characters have access to their entire kit without needing a signature, other character, or dupes. Keep in mind, this is not the same as a duper support granting quality of life or damage, though the two are not mutually exclusive. Mornier is a good example of a character that does not meet this criteria. Without her S1 or a character that can apply Tune Rupture or Tune Strain, she has no way of granting her 40% damage amp buff, which is a pretty significant part of her kit. She's still able to function as a solid general support, granting defensive and offensive buffs without her dupes or other characters, but that missing buff is a meaningful ceiling on her performance for players who don't have the right setup. So, this requires you to pull her S1 or another compatible character to access her full potential. Without that knowledge, a player may have pulled for Mornier and felt obligated to pull for her again, or pull for Luke, Ameth, or Lene when they weren't planning on it before. This player is now a victim of a trap banner. Mornier is a great support in her own right, but her needing additional pulls to unlock her full kit is a track to extract more astrite. There's no two ways about it. The second thing to consider is what niche and role the character fills, because this determines how locked in you'll be when building teams around them. Let's look at Shorekeeper. Her role is a spectral support character, and she fills the niche of a general offensive buffer since none of her buffs are element specific. Yeah, she has heals, but that's more of a cherry on the top situation. She's so highly regarded because her role as support means she naturally has higher value and longevity than a DPS, and her niche means she will have a spot on many teams. On the opposite end, we have Zani, who is a spectral DPS, and the niche that she fills is a spectral frazzle centered main DPS. So in this case, for any main DPS, since the only reason they tend to exist is to do damage, they need to excel at it. And without a doubt, Zani excels, but her niche is what kills her as being a character that needs spectral frazzle to operate. Zani is very limited in terms of team building since she needs either Phoebe or Spectral Rover, who is a noticeably weaker alternative to Phoebe when it comes to frazzle application. Lastly, once you've assessed a character's flexibility and the completeness of their kit on the first pull, you'll want to evaluate the investment scaling for the character. If a character passes the first two criteria, the final area where Kuro may try to entice you to pull more is by ramping up a character's power exponentially the more you invest. Your own willingness to invest will be a determining factor for this point, and it is a slippery slope when Kuro decides to pack a bunch of quality of life changes and power behind each layer of investment. Galbrena is a good example here. She's a fairly flexible main DPS that can be slotted into an echo damage or mono fusion team. She technically fails the first criteria since she does have an echo based forte buff, but in practice it works as a feature that gives her the ability to lean into two different damage types. While she's fine as is, investing in her early dupes up to S3 nearly doubles her damage, and if you have her signature, that puts you over the 200% damage increase mark. Sometimes this third point can be especially dangerous for free-to-play players when it's on a character you already like and they've passed the first two criteria. It becomes a lot easier to justify additional pulls, and that's the trap that Kuro is hoping you find yourself in. Of course, at the end of the day, my ultimate advice above all else is pull whoever you want, whatever makes you play the game. Meta be damned. But for anyone who's looking to get the absolute most out of your pulls, Whether that's in Wuthering Waves or any other gacha, keeping these things in mind will help you save your premium currency and avoid falling victim to a trap banner. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm curious, have you ever fallen victim to a trap banner? If so, let's talk about it in the comments below. But until next time, this has been PD Forte, and I'm out.